Welcome to another unboxing video on the Crimson Sith channel. Alright, today we're going to do something a little different. It's a product that's actually not out yet. So last time we did the AT-AT Miniatures Walker, which is no longer made anymore. And here's a product that isn't out yet. This is the Guns for Hire expansion for the current X-Wing Miniatures game. Now this expansion should be coming out in the next few weeks, but I had a friend get it to me a little early so I could do an unboxing video for you guys. Anyway, first off, these ships have already been introduced into the game, but they were not very good ships. They needed a lot of help, and this expansion has a lot of good things in it, I've heard, that are going to help these two ships and introduce a lot of interesting things into the game. So I'm going to get this thing cut open and let's see what we got inside. I always love the packaging for FFG because, as you'll see in a moment, the box and the components and everything just fits so well inside this thing. Everything is just so neat and tidy. Looks like everything's there. Alright, let's go over each individual thing. Alright, here are the models. The beautiful, beautiful models. Now the ship on your right is the Kirax fighter. The KIHRAXZ fighter. It's a weird looking guy. Looks like a bird of prey, well, like most of these ships. Has the black sun, has white paneling on the side, and in black it has the white sun, or the black sun logo on it. And the red ship over there is the Star Viper. Now, I really love the red paint job. I love whenever they come out with red versions of the well, any kind of ship. What I also like is the red paneling is on the back as well. They did a great job on the coloring here. I know it's kind of a dark shot. The lighting's kind of poor in here today. But then on the bottom of this ship, they have white paneling continuing on the bottom, which I really like. And the detail is really hard to bring out into camera here, but they did a better job on the underside of the ship. I know there's not much to the underside, but I was noticing when I was putting them on the pegs to display for you guys that they did put a little more detail into these models than they did the originals. And I brought out the originals so we could compare. These are the original two versions of the Kirax and the Star Viper, and as you can see, there's much less color to them right off the bat, although arguably there's a little more color with the original Kirax, with its purple and kind of metallic gray, green, whatever that is. And that one has a little more color to it, and perhaps a little more detail, but I think the whitewash is just deceiving on the new model. But as all the, I was really impressed with this model to begin with when it came out because of the detail, and I think it'll be hard to overcome that. The Star Viper over here I just thought the gray looked kind of disgusting. I don't know. It's that kind of cheap off-white gray kind of a thing. And I don't know. I was never really a fan of the color too much. I liked it. It's good for a standard, run-of-the-mill pilot, I guess. But it didn't have that flair for the Aces. It has the Black Sun logo on the front. The new one does not, so it's kind of weird. KRX did not have the Black Sun. This one did, and in the new thing they swapped them. So they're both kind of Black Sun ships now, I guess. Even though I don't remember hearing too much about the Vakasi, or I mean the KRX being a Black Sun thing. Well, I guess it did say one of the pilots. Yeah. Fair enough. But the Vakasi, or the keep calling them the Vakasi fighter because that's one of the titles now. The KRX is a variant of the X-Wing model in the lore. So a little fun fact. It was supposed to be the next type of X-Wing ship, and however, it was a little expensive. It was supposed to be more able to be modified than the original X-Wing. Which kind of brings us into the titles now. Now, originally we did not have a title for this ship yet, but now we do. It's going to be the Vakasi title. Since I keep accidentally calling it Vakasi, I'll just jump into it. Now, it comes with 2 copies of the Vakasi title. I'm going to bring them down here. And the Vakasi title really helps the ship, in my opinion. Right off the bat, it says, well, it's KRX fighter only, and it's a title. And traditionally, ships can only have 1 title per ship. And it says, the squad point cost of each of your equipped upgrades is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0. And then it says, you may equip up to 3 different modification upgrades. Now, this reminds me of the TIE Interceptor title, the one that came out in Imperial Aces, because that allowed you to take up to 2 different modifications. This one has 3 different. Now, I know what you're thinking, that makes it really expensive, but if you're picking 1 and 2 point upgrades, that's not expensive, because it's reducing the cost. So, I mean, if you put on a bunch of 1 point upgrades, they're free. So, and notice it says upgrades, not modifications, are reduced. So, EPTs could be free, Veteran Instincts is free, a whole bunch of other things. Like, you could really load up these ships and keep them relatively about the same. Because if I remember, the downfall when this ship came out is not a lot of people used them because they were so expensive. Well, they're arguably not that expensive anymore. They needed upgrades because they're not super great. Stat-wise, they're okay, stat-wise, and they don't have a lot of actions. They need cards that give them actions, because they only have the focus and target lock actions. Now, they are a 3 attack value, 2 agility, a 4 hull, and 1 shield stat line. And that's not bad, but definitely they need some actions. And their maneuverability is not, it's not bad, but it's not good. So they definitely need some kind of actions to try to help them maneuver, and their current action bar does not do it for them. So engine upgrade is common with that, with the ship. And vectored thrusters is another mod, which comes in this expansion. It does come with 1 copy. So it's a 2 point mod, so if you put the title on there, it's a 1 point mod. So for 1 point, you're making your ship much more versatile. Moving on to the Star Viper. The Star Viper already had a title. Don't remember the name of it exactly, but it gave it the illicit slot on its upgrade bar, and it gave it a sensor slot, if I remember. And it was 2 points, some of that, 1 point. Yeah, 1 point title is what it was, and it was a unique title. So we are going to have the first ship in the game. Well, first I'll go over this new title. So this title, the Star Viper Mark II, is Star Viper only. It says you may equip up to 2 different title upgrades. And it says, when performing a barrel roll action, you must use the slight one to the left or slight one to the right template instead of the straight one template. Now, this just made the Star Viper the first ship in the game that I'm aware of that can take more than 1 title. Because traditionally, the rule was you couldn't take more than 1 title. So they're trying to give the ship more options for being upgraded. Kind of the same thing they did with the they're doing with the Kirax in this expansion. So I like this title. I think the Star Viper had a lot of potential when it came out, and the problem was a couple things. It didn't have like an exceptional pilot, and it didn't have, well, it was a little expensive as well, but I don't know, it didn't really have the ability to really get everything it really wanted. The maneuverability wasn't enough for me either, for what it was, because basically this thing is an ace. It needs to be able to maneuver really well. And it has an okay dial, but it's not like a really good dial. And I know everyone's going to be paying attention to the first part of this card, but the second part actually intrigues me a little more. Oh, I totally got distracted by the point cost. So the Vakshi title is a 0 point cost. This one's a -3. We're bringing down the cost significantly. All the ships are going to be cheaper, older, and the newer ones, pilots. That's huge, but I also really like the barrel roll thing. The maneuverability that this gives you is massive. So instead of the kind of the standard, you move up to the right, up to the or back to the right, or up to the left, back to the left. You can do those, but you also have the option of which way you're being tilted with the the forward, or back kind of curve. So it's going to give you a ton more options. You're going to be able to position your ship much better with barrel rolls. And this ship can boost too, so if you have pushed the limit on there, you can do that slight barrel roll thing and then boost slight as well, and completely turn your ship around, completely turn it around with just 2 actions, no matter what you did, movement-wise. So you can do a complete turn and end up exactly where you were, facing the opposite direction. That's huge. That's massive in my eyes. And obviously, I mean, the 3 point cost reduction is massive too, but I don't know, I really think that's definitely going to help this ship in a dogfight, and I can't wait to use it. Like, the maneuverability is amazing. I'm obviously going to have to use this title. Both these titles, I think, are must-haves for these ships. So if you want these ships to be good, if you already have them, I definitely guarantee, even ignoring everything else in the pack, buy this ship pack, because it's worth it. The expansion's worth it just for these 2 cards. And there's 2 copies of each of these titles in here, so if you had one of each of those ships, you buy this, you're good. All your ships are good. Alright, and let's get into the other cards that are in here. Those are the other duplicate titles up there. Stealth device increases your agility by 1, but you have to discard it if you get hit by an attack. And vectored thrusters just adds the barrel roll action to your action bar, which is actually pretty good for these ships. Well, I guess Star Viper already has barrel roll, but it's a good thing for the Kirax. Moving on, we've seen Pulse Ray before. Came out with the last Scum Epic ship, but it's kind of neat. I guess this is the first regular expansion where you can actually get that card. So if you don't want to pay for an Epic ship, if you don't play Epic, I do, but If you don't, you can get 2 copies in this thing. Ion Dischargers is a new card. It's an illicit upgrade. So I guess we're done with mods now. Bring it into the spotlight a little bit. Now, Ion Dischargers reads, after you receive an Ion token, you may choose an enemy ship at range 1. If you do, remove that Ion token. Then that ship may choose to receive 1 Ion token. If it does, discard this card. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It guarantees that you get rid of your Ion token. But it gives them the option of either taking that Ion token or getting rid of your card, or gives them the option of taking an Ion token and getting rid of your card, or not taking it. So this is kind of interesting, in collaboration with Pulsed Ray Shield, because Pulsed Ray Shield is, during the end phase, you may receive 1 Ion token to recover 1 shield up to your shield value. You can only equip that card if your shield value is 1, however. But again, for both these ships in this expansion, they can both use that card, and they can, both these ships, if they have their titles on there, can take Ion Dischargers, which are illicit slots. Kind of interesting. It gives you some options, so you can recover your shield and then basically have no repercussion if you have an enemy within range 1 of your ship. And that does not have to be in your arc, by the way. Definitely something interesting that works well with another card. I'm not sure how useful it's going to be, but I like cards that give us options and something that can help down the road. Alright, let's move on. There's 2 copies of Harpoon Missiles. Now this is a new card that I know a lot of my friends were excited about. Let's just zoom on this guy. Now, Harpoon Missiles is a torpedo missile, or that's not the torpedoes, a missile symbol. Had a brain freeze. It's a 4 attack value card, range 2 to 3. It reads attack. It needs the target lock. Does not spend the target lock, but it does make you discard the card. If this attack hits, after the attack resolves, assign the harpooned condition card to the defender. Now this is the harpooned condition card. When you are hit by an attack, if there is at least 1 uncancelled crit result, each other ship at range 1 suffers 1 damage, then discard this card and receive 1 face down damage card. When you are destroyed, each ship at range 1 suffers 1 damage. And you can spend your action to discard this card, then roll 1 attack dice. On a hit or crit result, suffer 1 damage. So, you are getting damage if you get harpooned, but you can, try to be honorable and try to save your friends by spending your action, the attempt to get rid of it, and not be hazardous to your friends, I guess. So, kind of an interesting thing. I'm not sure if it's going to be good. I forgot to mention the cost. Harpoon missiles are 4 points. Ion dischargers were 2, by the way. I think they might be better on the Kirax, simply because the point cost gets reduced. So I mean, like, ion dischargers would only be 1 point. Same with Pulsed Ray Shield, and Harpoon missiles would be 3 instead of 4. So definitely a little worth it. Harpoon missiles are a little expensive for my taste. I try to choose upgrades that are cheap, and I'm not a huge fan of Ordnance. I guess as far as Ordnance goes, it's not super expensive, because we've seen like 7-point shots before. I don't like one-off things. Neither one of these ships can take a missile. Well, out of these 2 ships, the only one that can take a missile is the Kirax. But they can't both take extra munitions and a missile. So that kind of stinks. So you're only going to have one of these shots. And I don't know. I'm not a super huge fan of it. I was hoping Harpoon was going to do some kind of movement mechanic. So I'm a little disappointed because I didn't know what it was going to do exactly. But I like condition cards, so I'm kind of excited to have 2 more of them. Anyway, there's going to be more in the expansion. Let me go arrange the pilots and I'll get onto those. Alright, starting off with the Star Viper. The highest pilot I was really surprised to find was a pilot skill 6. They really didn't jump into making this thing an ace. And I was kind of disappointed because the previous high was a 7. And I was really hoping they'd come out with a higher one, but they went lower. But they got some interesting pilots. So starting off is the highest pilot skill 6. It's a named pilot. Dallin Oberos. His ability is, if you are not stressed, when you reveal a turn, bank, or sinuous loop maneuver, you may instead treat it as a red talent roll maneuver of the same direction, left or right, using the template of the original revealed maneuver. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, you can do it for a turn, a bank, or a sinuous loop. Gives you some options to surprise your enemy. Not the pilot I was expecting. I don't think it was the pilot that they needed. But it's definitely interesting. I don't think it's a bad pilot. I really like how he has the EPT Elite Pilot Talent medallion symbol in his upgrade bar. I think any pilot that has that is good. Even sometimes when they don't, but I was just worried that I would think he would be a useless pilot pretty much if he didn't have that. I mean, it sets up some options, definitely. I can think of several EPTs where you can change your maneuver after the fact. So any pilot that works with that makes those cards a little more useful, and they make this card a little more useful. So there's some options there. Moving on, we got the generics. 2 generic 5 pilot skill ships here. The Black Sun Assassin. Believe that is new. And I always like to read the little thing on there. It doesn't do anything, but it reads, although assassinations can be handled with a shot in the dark or a dire substance added to a drink, a flaming shuttle tumbling from the sky sends a very different message. And I always like the little things they put in there. I think that's a pretty good phrase. Anyway, the 5 has a EPT slot as well. Comes in for 28 points. Forgot to mention the other ship came in at 30. That's a reasonable cost. I mean, considering the title lowers it by 3, so 25 points. That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty standard for these types of ships, middle of the road EPT pilots. Now the last one is a named pilot, and I saved him for last, even though I like to go lowest to highest, because I really like him. He is my new favorite Star Viper pilot, just because I like to play tournaments, and I feel like in a tournament he would be very valuable, just because he has that element of versatility. So anyway, he is a 4 pilot skill ship. His name is Thweek, Thweek. I am a little aggravated by the fact he does not have an EPT, but I think he's good enough already. Didn't really need it. So he comes in at 28 points, so again with the title he's 25 points. Very reasonable. He's unique, same standard stat line as all of them. And his ability is, during setup, before the place forces step, you may choose one enemy ship and assign the shadowed or mimicked condition card to it. Now I happen to have these cards right over here. Get a massive, massive glare, so let me pull them in. Shadowed is a unique condition card. It says Thweek is treated as having the pilot skill value you had after setup. The pilot skill value of Thweek does not change if your pilot skill value changes or you're destroyed. So basically, he has the option to take your pilot skill, and no matter what happens to you, he stays at that pilot skill. That's pretty good. And then Mimicked, the other option, is Thweek is treated as having your pilot ability. Thweek cannot apply a condition card by using your pilot ability. Thweek does not count. Oh, Thweek does not lose your pilot ability if you are destroyed. And the interesting thing is, it doesn't say you don't lose, he does not lose your pilot ability if you lose your pilot ability. And I know what you're thinking, hey, there's no way you can do that. Well, they allow you to use the old damage deck still. And in the old damage deck, there is a crit that allows you, or that takes away your EPT slot and your pilot ability, if I remember right. So if I'm wrong about that, yell at me in the comments. I appreciate it. But I think you can lose it, so that's kind of interesting. No one really uses the old damage deck, but there's always, in a tournament, that one guy. So, interesting cards. I think Mimicked out of those is perhaps a little better, because you can take some of these really great pilot abilities that people are using, like Fen Rao. You get to take an extra attack dice, range 1, stuff like that. Extra defense dice, range 1, 2. That would be incredibly useful for Thweek, especially if you give him the title. He's able to do those barrel roll things, get right in your way. He'd be a menace with that. I mean, he's a 4, so he's not super scary. But I mean, if you're going for pilot skill, what's kind of interesting is if someone takes that TIE fighter, the Force Awakens TIE fighter, where you start out as a 12, and if you get hurt, you reduce your pilot skill to 4 or whatever. He can put the card on that ship. He stays a 12 no matter what. So, a little fun. Because he's not mimicking their pilot ability. In that case, he'd be piloting. He could use Shadowed and take their pilot number, and then he gets wounded, he doesn't reduce, because he's not stealing their ability, he's stealing their pilot skill value. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's not the printed value, so, can you do that? Yes, you can do it. FFG has already ruled that. They already put it up on their website. They anticipated that being a problem, or of interpretation, I guess. So, anyway, that's the Star Viper. Alright, moving on to the Kirax fighter, which I am so happy is in this expansion because I secretly love this ship. Starting off with the lowest, we've seen the Cartel Marauder before. It's the generic 2, has a missile and illicit, comes in at 20 points, standard. Next is another ship we've seen, Black Sun Ace, has an EPT in addition to that, 23 points. Here's a new pilot, 4 pilot skill, unique, Captain Jostard. He has the kind of standard stat line. He also has an EPT. His pilot ability is once per round after an enemy ship that is not defending against an attack suffers damage or critical damage, you may perform an attack against that ship. So, kind of interesting. Kind of reminds me of Harpooned a little bit. That's cool. So it's only once per round, so you can't do it to all of them. It'd be a little overpowered with Harpooned if you could attack all of them. I mean, you still only would be able to do that once per game, because Harpooned is a one-off for him. But still, that's... I don't know. They probably could have made it a little better. It's still good. For 24 points, I guess. Not bad. I guess if other ships have harpooned, though, it'd be better. Moving on, Victor Hell. I'm actually most excited about this ship, and I really like the artwork on this thing. In the picture, he's being chased by, it looks like Coruscant security ships. He has unique ship. He has the pilot skill 7, and his ability is what I'm excited about. After defending, if you did not roll exactly 2 defense dice, the attacker receives 1 stress token, and he comes in at 25 points, and he has an EPT slot. Now, I'm super excited about him because there's so many different ways to manipulate defense. The most obvious is keeping him at range 3, or flying him past debris or asteroids. So I mean, if you do that right off the bat, if you do nothing to the ship, boom, they get stress. I love giving stress. But I love the trigger stress more. And I was thinking, it seems like, I mean, he has an EPT slot, so you could reduce his agility. Someone pointed that out to me, and I'm like, yeah. But I hate using an action to expose. Yes, it increases my attack, but it lowers my defense. And this ship doesn't have a ton of health. I mean, 4 and 1, okay, but that's not that much. I was thinking stealth device. It comes in the pack, so I think they were kind of considering people to use this instead. It's 3 points, which means 2 points for that ship if you use the title. It increases your agility value by 1. So why not increase it? It's not 3, or it's not 2, it's 3. So it works and it triggers his ability. And I know what you're thinking, hey, stealth device, once you get hit, you lose it, and then the rest of the game you don't have it. Well, there's a way around this, because even though stealth device is a mod, the title also allows you to take up to 3 modification slots, and all your upgrades are reduced by 1. So this is now 2 points, and you could take the illicit card, which allows you to reload your mod if an enemy ship or friendly ship dies at range 1 through 2, if I remember right. It's the scavenger crane upgrade. Now, that can reload mods, so stealth device can get reloaded. So you can get hit by an attack. Let's say it takes a shield. I can take multiple mods, so let's go ahead and throw Pulsed Ray on there for 1 point because it's 2 points. Okay, I get hit by an attack, lost my shield, only 1 went through. I blocked a crit with it or something. So, okay, next round, or at the end of this round, I'll do Pulsed Ray Shield. I'll take an Ion token. I'll reload my shield. Next round, oh, I killed a ship at range 1 to 2 of me. I'll just go ahead and reload my stealth device. And let's say I made myself a 9. I took a 1 point EPT, so that's free because it's reduced by 1. So I'm a 9, I'm shooting before someone else, so as long as I kill someone, I stealth up, and then when they attack me, I'm back up to 3 agility, they're getting a stress, I'm pretty well defended, and if they take my shield again, I can still regen it again next round. So I just think that I just totally gave away what I'm going to do with this ship, but I'm going to load this ship up with that. Pulsed Ray Shield, Stealth Device, Scavenger Crane, Veteran Instincts. Like that's, you can guarantee that I'm running that ship with that. I just think it'll be a ton of fun. These are the templates for the harpooned on the right there. On the left is the mimicked kind of thing. Because there's different tokens you're supposed to put on people's ships when they get hit by those conditions, so you remember which ship they're on. It's just a token reminder. But anyway, I'll get a final shot of these ships. And would I recommend this pack? Like I said earlier, it's totally worth it. If you have these ships before, it's a must-have to make those ships useful, in my opinion. I'm probably gonna. I've picked up 2 KRX fighters and 2 Star Vipers in the past because of cards I wanted, and because I really wanted the KRX to be good. I never really used it that much, but now I will. And I'm probably going to pick up 2 of these gun for hire packs because I want enough cards to utilize all of mine. I play Epic too, so since I play Epic, I could use that many ships pretty easily because Epic is 300 points for solo. Anyway, I have 2 other unboxing videos that are coming out soon. I play Destiny now as well, and they're going to be Destiny expansions, but unboxings will be a common thing on the channel now. Alright, thanks for watching. I do respond to the comments. Every one of your comments I respond to. I like responding, and I also like making videos that are suggested. I also have a nifty little subscribe button down there, which I would really appreciate if you hit a subscribe, and it'll allow you to see all my future content, and it'll pop up on your main YouTube page. Alright, thanks for watching again, and have a great day.